Hello, welcome to my digital diaries of self-reflection. This reflection is on like validation, rediscovery, and embracing your childhood self. Rediscovery and embracing your childhood self are two kind of similar things, but those are things that I kind of help me combat unnecessary need for validation. And what I mean by that is like FYI, this is more like a self reflection for me. But whoever hears this, maybe you don't feel alone in your thing of I don't know. But the one thing I want to talk about is validation, and especially just sometimes seeking validation in the sense of I don't know, trying to get a vibe check of people, but you don't really know that person, and so you're just assuming based off body language and the way they're looking at you, which I kind of wrote about in the sense that I wrote every single thing I've done is reviewed in other people's views, not by my own. And what I mean by that is I don't know why my eyes feel like this right now, but what I mean by that is I think of myself in other people's views, not my own, which is something I've been trying to stop because sorry, it's like I think my eyelashes. But I feel like it's mainly because a lot of times I try to get a temperature check on people that I don't really know, and I want to know how they feel about me without asking them how they feel about me. So I'm going based off conversation, but our conversation is probably gonna be dry because we don't really know each other, right? And the one thing, force quits and applications, and I'm not gonna edit this video because I think that this makes it more honest and yeah, but that is something I think that's like a category I feel like a validation that exists within my own mind that I really want to combat, because I think there's a difference between respectable validation of if my friends and family, I need them to confirm some stuff, but not all the time, not 24/7, especially because I think sometimes self-validation is so important, and the only way you can do that is by rediscovering your interests. And a lot of my interests seem to be things that I really liked when I was a kid. I love to write, I love to read, obviously love to talk, and I love to do in my opinion, really random stuff. I was really curious about a lot of stuff. I have notebooks of just journals of random stuff that I learned, and I think one important thing that I feel like I should be able to go back to, or it should be a large part of my life no matter what, is an aspect of my childhood, and taking my childhood and embracing it and being like, okay, what parts of myself did I like when I was a kid? Was it the fact that I had hope 24/7, 365? Because I feel like that is what it is for me, and maybe for other people too, in the sense that I loved reading books when I was a kid. I think a lot of it was because I could get away from stress and a lot of things in my life that were happening when I was a kid. And especially because I was getting acclimated to a whole different environment. And at a certain point, I was ESOL, so that means English was not my first language. And so reading also helped me in that, but it also helped me in just escaping to different worlds, learning about different things. My favorite book to this day is Percy Jackson, and I will always be a Percy Jackson fan because of the fact it took me to another world, and I just was yes. But I think a piece of me when I grew up a little, especially when I was in high school, I kind of lost that part of me for a while because I was riding the wave, and I'm not about to have FOMO because that's just not gonna happen. And I think I rode the wave of social media a lot, and I feel like I took years off my life because all I did was go on social media. Obviously, I was productive. I went to school, whatever, but I didn't really have a hobby, not a side hustle, hobby that I could go back to and relax. And something I realized the past couple weeks is those were the things, and those are the things that calm me the most. Going into another book and reading it page for page and reading it, rereading it, being shocked, because I especially love mystery books like The Silent Patient. Took me to different places, and one gave me context on so many different aspects of life that I genuinely am interested in. And so as a New Year's resolution, I decided to kind of focus on what I want to learn, especially in the sense that I don't know, I feel like I could know so much about what I'm curious about if I actually took my curiosity and did something with it. So yeah, but wait, I have other notes. It's not just about that. Also, like, let's see. I reflected on the fact that I keep caring, and I let my self-worth be determined by others' opinions. So I decided to change it in 2025, but I didn't do a complete 180. I did a rediscovery of what I loved as a kid. As a kid, books, short stories, anything I could escape into, as I said before. But at the same time, I think there has to be a balance of escape and reflection. Like, you have to be able to reflect, and if you're not able to reflect, then it's like kind of effed up. But I'm not good at reflecting. I think a lot of times it's hard for me to learn lessons because I think I learned the lesson, but I really didn't. So I think I'm gonna, try to keep a journal and like be better at reflecting and stuff. I started this program thing. It's kind of like Notion, but I like it because it's like a little more like minimalistic. It's called Obsidian, and I started writing like reflections there, even though I did miss a day, so I need to do 2 today. But yeah. And then also I made something about self-discovery, and something I kind of thought about was, and like, these things I'm thinking about are not things that I've like fully applied in my life. I'm not an expert, but I think these are things that if I keep reflecting and I keep remembering, that I can make a change in my own life. And that is, at a certain point, being shy about what you love might mean you love it. You just haven't dived deep enough. For instance, like, there was a time where I thought I was going to write a book because I was so obsessed with writing a book, because I was so obsessed with K-dramas, and K-dramas were so creative with their plots. Like, the plot of The Hairs was crazy, especially now. Like, looking back, I'm like, this was crazy. But I'm like, this was insane that I got greenlit, but also, like, the creativity you had to come up with for some of these scenes were insane, and I want that creativity. I want to be able to be, like, reading my own book. And did I write a book? No, but I know that, like, I'm only 20. Like, I can write a book if I want, whenever I want. But it's actually doing it, and it's actually the fact that I shouldn't be shy about my desire to write a book for no reason, because it's something I like to do, just like I like to read a book. And there are things that I really want to do that I'm really scared to do. One, because I feel like a lot of times, especially in the 21st century, there's cameras all around us. Let's not even forget about the CCTV. I feel like everybody's recording everybody, and everybody's posting it. I make TikToks of myself. I will not deny that. But at the same time, like, I feel like people are posting so much of other people's lives without consent that I'm like, I'm gonna get clowned on by the internet. But at the same time, it's something I love. Like, it's not something that, like, I'm just doing to do it. It's something I'm passionate about, and it's something I genuinely do give an F about. So why should I care what the world is thinking about me reading a book, right? And I know the world doesn't really care, but it's like that. Me consuming and doom scrolling and seeing other people judge what, like, guys are reading and girls are reading on the train. Now it's like, damn, I shouldn't be reading at all. No, I should, because I'm just gonna get more knowledge, and what's wrong with getting more knowledge? I don't see anything with that. That's my opinion. And also, I think always having a little piece of, like, hope or, like, happiness or giggling. Like, last night / this morning, because I woke up early to do this, I watched like 3 K-dramas. One of them was called Our Movie, I think, and it was, I like to skip scenes though, because it's not that I find any scenes cringy. It's doom scrolling. And so I blame everything on doom scrolling, so I don't have to take personal responsibility, FYI. But at the same time, like, genuinely, I was watching this, and I got that feeling I got when I was like 11 years old, watching K-dramas for the first time, watching The Hairs, which is horrible in my, like, vision of what romance was. Obviously, I grew up mature, and it's like, I don't want a man, nor do I want to consider a man my potential partner if he trips me in front of the whole school, or if he locks me in the broadcasting room, which, first of all, they were really rich, because that broadcasting room was studio. Like, Beyonce would have been in there making some music. like Frank Ocean would have come out of retirement if that was fair. But yeah, I think if you like, like there's something that just makes you like, like, because for me that's that and like coloring and watching true crime, unfortunately, which, sometimes I'm glad I watch true crime because like I'm so knowledgeable on how stupid people are. Like, not even 75, I'm gonna say 99%, I can guess the plot of a true crime. Like 48 hours is what I mean by true crime. I don't watch anything but 48 hours. Because 48 hours is censored enough for me, but it's not too censored. Like, I don't really have to see the blood in the body. But I also don't need it to be, like, censored to the point it's, like, PBS Kids style. So, yeah. I don't know what else. Like, I just think that maybe having a bucket list where you're, like, truly honest, and it doesn't have to be a yearly bucket list. I feel like it could be, like, a lifetime bucket list. Like, one of my bucket list things is to fall in love. That's something I don't have predictions. I can't be like 2026. I'm going to fall in love with myself. Hopefully, that's something I really, really want to do. I think that's also self-love, because it's something I realized. Like, for instance, when I was a kid, I hated this hairstyle right here. I hate it because I'm Ethiopian. Big forehead. That's something Ethiopians are known for. I'm proud of my big forehead now. But I was a kid. Every time my mom made me put a bun in, it was the worst thing ever. Especially when it was like, it wasn't at the bottom. It would be like here or here. It would just like, in my head, elongate my forehead. And all the other Habesha kids would be like, forehead. Especially Habesha boys, which in itself was weird. But it was fine. Like, that was teasing, I guess. It was like, what's it called? Like, teasing. Like passerby. I don't know. So I think I'm trying to think of other things that kind of like is like your own self-love, your body. Like, I have a bucket list thing for this year is that I want to be able, well, it's not even like my body for me, but like it's more like I genuinely don't know how to run, but my bucket list thing is to run in public confidently. I am so insecure when it comes to like athletic running, not like I'm running for my life in a horror movie. No. I mean, like, I'm running to a Beyonce song, or I'm running to like Yeet or something. I'm running, and I genuinely get so insecure and selfish in my opinion. Every time I think I'm insecure, I should think I'm selfish. That's how it should be, because the world doesn't revolve around me. Revelation. Just kind of revelation. Yes. Okay, but continue. I genuinely feel so insecure. The amount of YouTube videos, TikTok videos, Reels, Shorts, everything I've searched up to see how to run properly. And then when I go and actually run, I do the Nike Run app. I'm scared out of my mind because I'm like, I'm gonna get made fun of by these pro runners, these girls in like the Lululemon, and these dudes wearing freaking like Tech or whatever, Nike, and they're in their Hokas, and I'm here in my Nike shoes, being like, oh my god, am I landing on my foot right? Should I be landing on my front or my back? Wait, how do I know if I'm running on my front or my back? Wait, am I running properly? Is it supposed to be like this? Oh, I'm supposed to sit straight. But wait, I got a kind of like a tech neck and then like a hunchback back, so I'm gonna be running like this. Wait, so I shouldn't be facing the ground. That's how I feel when I'm running. I become more insecure than I think I could be insecure if I wore a bikini on a beach. That's how insecure I become. Because it's an action I cannot see myself doing without looking at it after I've already done it. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know why it stopped, but let me continue. Because it's too late. It's too late for me to change what I've already run. When I've already run that lap. You may be like, you didn't run it in PE or something? I was walking in the back with my friends in PE, from what I remember. So yeah. I will say though, like, I just got a flashback to me in PE, because there's a Snapchat of me. I'm like on the, sorry, I'm like I'm like, I'm not even trauma dumping, I'm just dumping info. I'm like me crawling up this like tennis, like, the gates. Did that. And I remember one time me and my coach were like, me and my coach, my PE teacher, me and him were just sitting there chatting together, and there was like a dog that came up. And I looked visibly scared in front of my PE coach. I will never forget that. Yeah. Wow, I was a weird kid. In high school, I was a very weird kid, is what I'm realizing. And that's okay. Because, guys, when you're weird, that just means, like, you've advanced into weirdness that people haven't reached yet. Because everybody has their own little weird quirk. And it might, from the outside be weird. Like, for instance, like, the guys who what's it called? Tailor their trucks. Tailored truck is what I'm gonna start calling it. They like tailor their trucks, like lifted trucks and stuff. Not a lifted vintage like the California cars and stuff. No. I'm not talking about that. I mean at my college, when I tell you the amount of times I was walking to my apartment from class, lifted trucks would just be zooming down the street. And I'd be mad. Anyways, bye.